What's such a following another reaction? In today's video, we have the death of real fashion designers by wrong trousers. These pictures AI gang. I was seeing this shit. Niggas put fucking the flight and fucking vet months and shit. Rick Owens, like, gang, what the hell?
Over the past year or so, some of the internet's biggest and most popular live streamers have slowly started to invade the fashion community.
Well, Bruce was first. Let's keep it a buck. He was the first nigga really into this fashion shit on streaming.
Whether it's Hassan Palpatine getting fashion content creators Wisdom K and Frugal Aesthetic on his stream in the hopes that they'll validate his atrocious fits.
Gang, this nigga, nigga Hassan dressed like a punk. Look at that shirt.
Or the appearance of people like Jason the Ween and Bruce Drop 'em Off on the runway in Paris for 424's Fall Winter 2026 collection.
Had this nigga dressing like a Red Dead 2 civilian, Red Dead 2 NPC game.
But at the very same show, sat at the front row, we also saw arguably one of the world's largest streamers, Kai Cenat. I found it very ironic
What a largest LARPer.
that they sat him next to Edward Skeletrix of all people, but I'm getting ahead of myself.
He do not know who that is, oh god. He do not know who that is.
This isn't crazy news or something new. Famous people with no tangible connection to fashion or the industry being invited to shows is something that happens all the time. What makes this specifically interesting is that not long before, while on stage at the 2025 Streamer Awards, Kai announced that he wants to become a fashion designer.
What?
Very soon after, he proved that he wasn't bluffing and drops a video titled I Quit, in which he announces he's quitting streaming to go all in on becoming a fashion designer and launching his brand, Vivette. But before all the Kai Cenat fans start freaking out that they won't be able to digitally hang out with their best friend who doesn't even know they exist anymore, it's okay. He's started a second channel where he regularly...
God, come back, stupid Nick. Like, come back, gang. Like,
uploads long videos.
Nigga then gave up on this channel. Like, what you doing? When is Vivette dropping, gang? It take that long to come up with a brand, bro?
Videos documenting his foray into making clothes, as well as a very public self-improvement grind, which, according to the gospel that is the first results that come up on Google, must include that Atomic Habits book. I've seen people online say that this hard departure from streaming was sparked by a recent breakup, which, yeah, maybe that's true. I guess he did upload a video of himself listening to Blonde by Frank Ocean.
Ooh, nani, nani.
I have done all kinds of deep research for videos on this channel, but I draw the line at researching the dating lives of live streamers. For some reason, men who are obsessed with self-improvement discourse always have this weird fantasy of a woman wronging them in some way, which sparks their grind of looks maxing, dropshipping, and trying to move to Dubai. Basically this image. So I think that's somewhat being projected onto Kai, even though it's quite clear from the I Quit video that
gang, nigga posting videos of him sewing. Gang, you know you gonna have them niggas in that sweatshop doing that, bro. Them Chinese niggas.
He'd been gearing up for this for at least a few months before the Streamer Awards at the end of the year. Regardless, this career change is very abrupt and out of nowhere, considering Kai has shown little to no interest in fashion before this speech and pivot into the industry. And no, being an absurdly rich public figure and having a stylist does not count as being into fashion. Before I get more into this, I want to address the inevitable comments about me just being a hater simply because Kai Cenat is trying something new or following his year or two long dreams or whatever, because this is the most popular pro Kai Cenat becoming a designer argument I've seen online. Firstly, I do not concern myself with the opinions of people who donate money to multi-millionaires whose jobs consist of rotting in their bedrooms and occasionally stuffing their faces with...
Bro, that clip is crazy, bro. This nigga had a roach on him, bro. Oh my gosh.
...with Uber Eats while they leech content off other creators. Secondly, streamers colliding with the fashion industry is like the equivalent of finding a gold scar for the type of content I make on this channel. You can't expect me not to talk about this. Jokes aside, I will be constructive with my criticism and use it as a springboard to go into the wider conversation about the issue or environment that I think the fashion industry is currently in, where we are seeing more and more already famous people entering the fashion industry. But before we go any further, now that we've paid the bills, let's get back to it. I think what the Kai Cenat quitting streaming to become a fashion designer situation can be boiled down to is the idea of wanting to be great at doing something that you love versus wanting to be seen doing something you think is cool. If you watch the I Quit video, it will become very apparent that Kai falls into the latter. The whole video focuses on painting Kai as this visionary for quitting to pursue fashion design. He talks about not wanting to be pigeonholed as a streamer, how going to Japan got him interested in clothes, his big announcement moment at the Streamer Awards, and then him being surrounded and involved with the fashion design and production process to kickstart his brand Vivette, which will rise from the ashes of his streaming career. But when the video does actually focus
And nigga got money out of Mafia Thon 3 and about to get some more money out of y'all niggas.
on Kai's creative input or ideas related
and that shit about, y'all think that shit about to be cheap, gang? That shit about to be 300, 500 for a vet boot. 500 for the boots, 300 for a vet jacket.
to fashion design, it's
100
honestly
for a
kind of
hoodie.
hard to watch. And it's not even the parts where he's struggling to distress a t-shirt or him using a sewing machine for the first time. That's fine, I probably can't do that shit any better. It's the times where he confidently says really convoluted things that don't really make sense, or the parts where he ignorantly displays how little, I guess, fashion literacy he has. About 5 minutes into the video, we see him viewing boot samples being made somewhere in Italy, which are clearly vintage-style hiking boots made with crocodile skin pattern embossed leather with an extra D-ring eyelet on the toe cap.
Them bitches fake ass. I ain't gonna lie, them bitches got the ass though.
At this point in the video, I thought, fair enough, they ain't quite...
Nah, but we gotta cop them though, y'all, because we gotta be performative. We gotta listen to Frank Ocean with the wired headphones, with the matcha tea, with the Vivette boots.
greedy 20s, but I wasn't expecting him to be making actual leather boots, and I can respect that. I've definitely seen the extra eyelet on the toe cap thing before, but it's still a nice extra
That shit like some wrestling shoes, John Morrison ass boots.
detail. Following this, I was immediately reminded that this is a man who, up until a few months ago, made his living by screaming "Gyat" and getting sturdy, and not the second coming of Lee Alexander McQueen. We see a close-up of the boot, and Kai starts complaining that the eyelets at the top have been left open. The way this sequence was edited and presented in the video was to paint
Dang, it's gonna be
Kai as having
painful as shit to put that boot on. How the fuck you gonna fit that? Man, like that shit, you gonna be fucking, you know, like them shoes, some shoes that be hard as hell to put on because you breaking them in. This your first time. But it about to be hard as hell to put that bitch on. Foot about to be cramping trying to put that boot on.
an awareness of every detail and spotting a mistake that didn't adhere to his creative vision, essentially to depict him as a good fashion creative. Those open eyelets are called speed hooks and are included on taller hiking boots by design, so it doesn't take ages to get the boots on and off. If they were just the normal D-ring eyelets like Kai wants, then the ankle shaft would be really narrow and hard to put your foot in and out of. I don't even think this is some niche fashion knowledge, it's kind of common sense if you've ever worn shoes like this before.
Damn, nigga just cooked Kai ain't even know this probably.
Bro is literally in a shoemaker's studio in Italy pointing out a functional design feature as a flaw in front of the person who made them right before his eyes.
Bro, I ain't even know all this, I ain't gonna lie. This a real fashion, nigga.
This might seem nitpicky to some people, but I think Kai Cenat is too successful for me to give him any beginner's leeway. This isn't a 16-year-old kid with his mum's sewing machine starting to make some of those horrible looking upcycled jeans you see on Depop that no one wears. He has more money than anyone would realistically need for multiple lifetimes and has navigated the business of being an internet personality extremely well over the years and weaved his way through controversies in a manner that it's clear that he is a clever individual, or at least clever enough to pay someone with more expertise than him to tell him what to do. If he wants to be taken seriously as a designer, then he's going to have to deal with shit-talking internet keyboard warrior critics like myself. I do respect that he's actually learning to sew, but announcing your brand and plans to be a fashion designer first and then showing the world how little you know while already getting started on the brand and actively hiring people just seems insane to me. Kai has enough money where he could have just quit and gone off the radar and been all cryptic for a few years only to come back with a fully fleshed out brand and having already put in the hours instead of immediately announcing his rebrand and himself as a designer. You might say, well,
I feel like he did this shit too fast. Like, your ass should just disappeared and ain't said shit.
that's a risk to his popularity, but that's the point. If he truly cared about the craft like he says and not simply making himself the focal point of attention, then he would be willing to take that risk. He could have even tried to use his connections to get an internship at a fashion house like Kanye did, or even better, attend a fashion school. Imagine if
I saw Bruce. He posted the videos of him making the shit and going through the process too early. He should have posted this like 2 years from now when Vivette was successful. You know what I'm saying?
Kai Cenat went to Central St Martin's. If you walk around Cold Drop's yard in King's Cross where that school is based, it already looks like a VR chat lobby. Imagine adding Kai Cenat to that mix, that would be so jokes. Even if he just quit, said nothing, went away for a few months, maybe made a few fashion show appearances to drum up some intrigue, and then quietly started releasing stuff like those hiking boots, then I think there would be a more positive buzz around Kai and not the absolute ridicule he's been receiving on the internet at the moment.
Yeah.
To me, Vivette seems like a bad combination of the Dunning-Kruger effect mixed with the ego of a live streamer. He wants to be a fashion designer, but he obviously can't let go of the lifestyle of a streamer. Showing everything, including being a clueless beginner, is a very streamer mindset, but I don't think this will help him in the way he thinks it will. The fashion industry is all about perception and image, so failing in private is actually valuable, especially in his case because he simply doesn't have the option to fail in front of a tiny audience like most brand owners get to do when they first start out. Even if he does start releasing good clothes, I do think he has already tainted the brand's image and set it up to be something no one can ever take seriously, other than his
It's gonna sell out, gang. I'm telling you. That shit gonna sell out. If y'all think this shit not gonna sell out, you're dumb.
already established die-hard fans
This
who would
shit got
probably buy
hype,
his toenail
like, 'cause of
clippings
the
if
memes.
given the opportunity. The only aspect of this brand that I think seems somewhat calculated and kind of clever is the self-improvement grind set angle that Kai is taking. The amount he talks about being put into a box just feels like he wants to be written off purely so he can feel like and present himself as the underdog. But having wealth and influence is the cheat code to a successful fashion business, which he already has. He is not the underdog. He doesn't need to make good clothes. He doesn't even need to sell a reasonable amount of products to sustain the business. He doesn't have to deal with the financial pressure of starting a small brand that usually weeds out a lot of shitty brands. A year from now, he can just be selling any amount of clothes per drop because the profits won't matter when you've got that IV drip of streaming funds being injected into the brand. This plus getting some of his famous and influential friends to wear his clothes, and then I'm sure he will happily gloat about how everyone, including that English prick fashion YouTuber Wrong Trousers, wrote him off at the start. But look at him now. He has a fashion brand that sells out and famous people wear it. That's a success story, right? You can't be the underdog when you've entered a game you can't lose. There's no art to this brand. Its meaning is purely based on it simply existing. There's no atmosphere, storytelling, world-building, mystique, or even just pure technical fashion design. If Kai truly cared about clothes and fashion in the way he wants everyone to believe, then why didn't he use his platform, influence, or wealth to uplift the community surrounding it and maybe support and promote little-known or up-and-coming designers instead of just...
Well, I'm looking at my phone. Supreme got a Spider-Man collab. This shit is hard. But Supreme OD tough, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Bro, this shit hard. Man, this shit on my phone.
making everything about himself. But obviously this issue is beyond just Kai Cenat, and the fact that we are even seeing this sort of thing happening signifies how normalized it is for celebrities to enter the fashion industry or being hired into senior roles such as creative director purely because they are famous. A recent and quite controversial example of this is Jaden Smith being appointed as the first ever men's creative director for Christian Louboutin in September 2025, with his first collection being shown in Paris earlier this year for Men's Fashion Week. I would like to point out that Jaden Smith has definitely been into fashion for a very long time. As fashion creator Julian Carter pointed out in his video, he's made and worn a lot of custom clothes over the years, so it's not really the same case like we have with Mr. Kai Cenat. Does that mean I think he should be a creative director at a luxury fashion house? Oh hell nah. It takes people whole careers to reach a position many rungs below this with tons more experience and skill. Just because Jaden Smith was born into a famous family and made some Depop upcycle look in our jeans at some point does not mean he is the correct pick for a role.
I ain't gonna lie, he was kinda Jaden Smith was low-key kinda ahead of his time. I ain't gonna lie with fashion.
Like that. His first collection, which was recently shown at Paris Fashion Week, had the same creative depth as a high school student's art project.
I feel like red is the main character of the stories that we tell, and I feel like it's very powerful color.
I imagine somebody unearthing one of these shoes in the future and using this paintbrush to slowly reveal the shoe that's coming out of the red sands of time.
There's no creative coherence throughout the collection, and a lot of the pieces seem very derivative. Like, these shoes just seem like a straight up copy from 424. Oh yes, the exact same image that has been circulating social media recently as a result of the swag fashion revival just so happens to be the inspiration for a new shoe for Louboutin, the brand that only hired Jaden Smith as a CD in a clear attempt to attract a
Hey, Christian Louboutin and shit, man. But these niggas gotta start. These niggas should be picking celebrities and be naming them as creative director gang.
Gen Z customer base. Definitely not a calculated business move and was all done because of friendship, like Jaden Smith says. I've been using super recent examples of celebrities getting involved in the fashion industry, but this sort of thing has actually been going on for a while. Victoria Beckham has been desperate to be taken seriously as a fashion designer since the 2000s, yet has never come out with anything vaguely innovative or even creatively unique. Similar to Kai Cenat, her whole brand is built off the idea that she wants to be taken seriously as a fashion designer rather than actually having a real creative vision. It's widely known that the business would have gone under at some point if it wasn't being constantly bankrolled by the Beckhams family, so how can that ever be viewed as a legitimately successful fashion business? Meanwhile, Martine Rose was doing bar shifts in Soho well into her 30s to support her fashion career, which only really took off once she was hired as a menswear consultant at Balenciaga by Demna in 2015. If another designer hadn't recognised her talent and hired her at Balenciaga, then maybe Martine, who is an incredible designer, wouldn't be in the position she is today. How unfair is that when you look at how celebrities get treated in this industry? Does this mean I support the idea that only traditionally trained people who went to fashion school should be creative directors? Absolutely not. Virgil Abloh and Hedi Slimane both did not have a traditional education or training in fashion, but both had such a monumental impact on the modern fashion zeitgeist. I also think there are definitely exceptions to my general opinion that celebrities should stay the fuck away from the fashion industry. Obviously, he's gone off the rails in recent years, and
these niggas don't know nothing else. These niggas think they either do music, fashion, or YouTube. Or streaming. Like, these niggas don't know
be
nothing
honest,
else.
his designs have been pretty shit in recent times, but you can't deny the monumental impact that Kanye West has had on men's fashion in so many different ways throughout the 2010s. These people got to their positions in the highest echelons of the fashion industry in spite of their lack of traditional fashion education, but they also had to prove themselves first before anyone took them seriously. Hedi Slimane crafted the skinny rocker look that clearly just sells no matter what fashion house he's at. Kanye's personal style and general taste in fashion was clearly so innovative and influential to modern menswear that it got to a point where it just made sense for him to be a designer as well as a music artist. And Virgil had to pioneer streetwear as high fashion, which has been an industry norm ever since. Circling back to Kai Cenat and Vivette, I've seen a lot of people making jokes online saying stuff like, bro thinks he's the second coming of Virgil, which, to be honest, I don't think is far off his thinking. He's gone down that same business grind set bro approach to fashion, which, as I discuss in this video, tends to be done by people who are inspired by Virgil, but usually for the wrong reasons. I think the impact of Virgil is a double-edged sword, and
I blame Lil Yachty for the way niggas dressing now. Lil Yachty had a big influence, bro.
unfortunately
The fucking
inspired
cargo pants, baggy jeans, like
people to covet his position rather than his responsibilities and love for the game and craft of fashion. His design principles have been mythologized, then nitpicked and taken out of context to be used as a crutch for lazy, derivative, or boring design. This is why we have so many Instagram slop brands nowadays. Just because Virgil did it doesn't mean you should too. I understand that the fashion industry is already riddled with nepotism and useless idiots who probably don't deserve the jobs that they have, and this tends to be the first counter-argument you hear when someone complains about celebrities entering the fashion industry. But this is just a whataboutism. I personally think we shouldn't make the situation worse by letting celebrities feel justified in adding deadweight to the industry and sucking up attention and opportunities that would have otherwise gone to people who have dedicated their lives to making unique and innovative clothes. That's the end of the video. Goodbye.
One short video.
make sure like, comment, subscribe, and do this. Kai Cenat, we need you. But y'all gonna buy that Vivette though? I gotta see, bro. Like, I gotta see what that shit look like. We seen like the samples, the pictures. That nigga Kai probably stressed the fuck out trying to get this shit right. I ain't gonna lie. Kai probably going through so much with this fashion shit. Like, nigga probably pulling his hair out. Nah, this design I don't like this. Nah, fuck it. Just scrap it. Do the whole, redo the whole thing. Nigga probably losing his mind.